Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight while we talk a little bit about something called special assignment requests. We're going to go over some information and I'll put it up for questions and answers for that. My name is Ellen Truskowski and I am the Director of Student Assignment for Pinellas County Schools. We're going to start off a little bit just kind of talking about student assignment in general and talking about the fact that our district is one of choice. And what that means is we have an open enrollment plan that gives families a variety of options to find the fit that best suits their needs for their family and their children. Of those options, it includes everything from our neighborhood or zone schools, and I'll kind of explain how that works. It includes our district application programs, which are our magnet and fundamental programs, specialized themes, as well as special assignment requests, which is going to be the focus of tonight's session. It also includes early education options. For those who live out of county, we offer something called special attendance permits. We have Pinellas Virtual School, there's charter schools, there's homeschool. So there's a variety of options for your families that Pinellas County Schools offers. With that, I'm going to start off with your zone school because this is where you would be assigned when you go to enroll. And this is your starting point. And we get a lot of questions about this, so I just wanted to go over so everybody understood how it works. So we have a grid system in the county where we have divided the whole county up into grids, and those grids are used to create school zones. Every residential address in the county is associated with a grid number, and that grid number is what determines the school zone. We have a website which will allow you to find out what that school locator and find out what your zone schools are. If you go to pcsb.org/zone, you're going to get a screen that looks like this. You'll be able to enter your house number and your street name, and then just click search. What's going to pop up is something that you will see to the right of your screen. It's going to let you know what the zoned elementary, middle, and high school is. And this would be the zone school, or if you're coming up from up north, it's what the neighborhood school is. So when we refer to zone school, it's just referring to that's the neighborhood school assigned based off of your address. We also have an interactive school zone map. So you could either find your school on that, but you can also see the zoning. So you have an idea of what those school zones look like. You can see the elementary, there's an interactive middle school one as well as high school. So in addition to the zone where it narrows down the schools, it kind of gives you an idea of what those zones look like for that. The only schools you're not going to see in this are our 100% DAP programs. So we have a couple schools that are 100% either magnet or fundamental, and with that, they don't have a zone population. So if you went online looking for Sanderlin K-8 or Osceola Fundamental High School or Clearwater Fundamental Middle School, you're not going to see them on these interactive maps because they are 100% district application program, magnet or fundamental, which means you have to apply for them separately. In student assignment, we try to make sure or do everything we can that those incoming grade levels, so kindergarten, 6th grade, 9th grade, are assigned to the zone school. And then once you're in, you roll up to the next year. In other grades, we do our best to keep everybody at their zone school. Every now and then we get overcapacity, and that might be where we may have to look at what is the closest school nearby that we can transport to. And as long as it meets those transportation eligibility, which is 2 or more miles away from the school, we would then transport. But for the most part, we try to do everything in our power to ensure you are able to attend your zone school. And while tonight is not exactly 100% on that special assignment or this piece, I want to kind of go over that you can have time to research your options. The initial SAR period or special assignment request will end on April 17th. So you still have about 13 more days to do a little bit of research. It is randomized during this time period, so it doesn't matter if you apply now or kind of spend next week looking at some of the different options. As long as you apply by the 17th at 5 p.m., you're going to be able to be in that initial application period. And you really kind of want to check out your zone school first. And if the zone school doesn't have what you're looking for, maybe it's a specific program, or maybe it's an after-school enrichment or before and after-school care that you're trying to find, that's when a special assignment request is something that might be the next step for your family. We have a variety of information on our websites. This PowerPoint will also be in a PDF form on our website, so you'll be able to click the links on it to be able to go and see the different schools. So every single school is listed. It will allow you to go to their website where you'll have all kinds of different information about what kind of clubs, what kind of enrichments, if they have a magnet or fundamental program. It'll also contain this information. We also have a wonderful assessment, accountability, and research team, and they have created an interactive school grades format where for every single school that we have, you can kind of take a look and see the achievement levels, the learning gains, where they're at. So it kind of gives you just a little bit more information that if you wanted to do research, find out a little bit more about that school, we provide you some preliminary information to help guide those decisions. You are more than welcome to visit your zone school. So you can meet the principal, you can see firsthand what it looks like, what it feels like. Is this something that you're comfortable and you want your child to be a part of? And I would caution you that sometimes a school grade is not the deciding factor. There's a lot of things happening in our schools where maybe the school grade's not what you want it, but that perceptions, the grade, don't let that discourage you. Get a feel for yourself on, is the school something that's comfortable? Is it something that you want to be a part of? Is it something that you want your child to be? See what they have to offer. DAP programs, and I did want to mention that a lot of people think if they don't get into a district application program, and that's where they have a special theme, that's it and they need to look into other options. But I wanted to point out that we have an amazing career technical adult education department. And so a lot of times there are more programs than just that DAP. Like, for example, Eastlake High School is not the only school that offers engineering. It's the only high school that is a DAP program. So that magnet program we have to apply separately. But there are quite a few other high schools that have engineering that they offer. So I didn't want you to rule out that if you're not getting into some of those magnet or fundamental programs, there's still opportunities to apply for different career academies. And you can do that through the special attendance request. I wanted to put this website out there for you all so you can kind of learn a little bit more about the different options. And I just wanted to show you, because I mentioned engineering before, but I wanted to just kind of give you an idea where those engineering classes are offered. So you could look here and you could see that Boca Ciega has some engineering, Eastlake has some engineering, and a couple others. So just be aware that just because it's a magnet program doesn't mean that that's the only spot where we offer that certain program. So if you do find a career academy in a different school, you can attend that. If it's not a DAP program, you just would apply for a special assignment request. Now that I've mentioned that, I'm going to go a little bit more into depth with what a special assignment request is and kind of go over some ins and outs and some informations for you. So a special assignment request, this is the option that allows you to attend a non-zone, non-DAP school. So if you wanted that Sanderlin or you wanted that Eastlake High Engineering, this is not the way to get into it. A special assignment request would allow you to attend the zone side of a school that might have a DAP program. If you live near Seminole Elementary and you work near Garrison Jones, a special assignment request would allow you, if there's available seats, to be able to go to Garrison Jones instead of the one that's near you. So that way, if it's closer to your work and something was to happen, you would be able to easily access or get to your child. So as I said, the special assignment request, or sometimes you might hear me refer to it as an SAR, does allow you to apply for a non-zone school. It is based on whether there are available seats. So if a school doesn't have seats, I can't give you, or we can't grant it because there's no place to put you. So it's all based on availability. And we'll kind of go over, there's going to be a spot that we're uploading tonight that's going to show you how many seats we have for next year. However, I do want to caution you with that because it's only accurate from the time I pull the data. It's something that flows and changes frequently. The other thing is if people are applying for SARs from one school, and if they are granted, it's going to open up more seats. So it's a very fluid process, and it's very fluid and very hard to point out this is how many seats there are at any one point in time. I wanted to also mention that bus transportation is currently not provided for special assignment requests. They're seeing it as a school choice. You would need to get your child to and from school safely and on time. We do provide transportation to zone schools. So if you live 2 or more miles away from the school, or there's a hazardous condition, for example, Route 19, we would provide transportation to your zone school. We do give preferential treatment with a special assignment request. If you have children, dependent children of active military personnel whose move resulted from military orders, so you were transferred here and your family's coming with you, you would get preferential treatment or a priority. If the student has been relocated due to a foster care placement into another school zone, this is also another reason for preferential treatment. Students who move to another school zone due to court-ordered change in custody due to separation or divorce, or the serious illness or death of a custodial parent also get that priority. Additionally, we do sibling priorities as well. So those priorities are verified by the Student Assignment Office, which is why you don't get the immediate response after the application period. We do verify all the different applicants before having the computer do the randomized offers. And I wanted to talk about the availability of seats. We use in this district something called functional capacity. So functional capacity is basically the number of spaces or seats available at a given school based on state and district guidelines for room uses, staffing model, class size amendments. In this PCS, School Board Policies and Procedures, there's a list of different things that impact functional capacity. I'm not going to read through all of these because it's a lot, but it has to do with population density. We look at the demographic patterns. We look at how many classrooms are there. Are there unused classrooms? We look at what programs is the school offering. Do they have the staffing? Do they have the space to be able to accept more students? We also look at educational offerings and other things. So there's a lot of different pieces or components that go into our definition of capacity. That capacity. So once we put in the number of units or students that we have allocated, we plug them in and it gives us the functional capacity for a school. If that school has enrollment where it's considered 95% of functional capacity, we consider that school overcrowded. And we do have some. Eastlake High School is considered at capacity or the overcrowded. Palm Harbor High School. There's several schools that we have that at the current time, there are not seats available. You can still apply for them because there might be some people at those schools who are applying for an SAR elsewhere. As seats become available, we can grant. But unless there's seats available, we're not able to grant. So that big piece of having available seats is key to how we can either approve or put you on a wait list for a special assignment request. And I just want to let people know, because when you go in, if a school has been determined to be overcrowded or is at capacity, there's not a lot of likelihood that we're going to be able to grant a lot of special assignment requests. Unless seats open up, very few of these are going to be offered. So when you go in, any school that you're looking at that might be at that designation where we may not have too many seats, they're going to show up as red to kind of give you an indication. You're also going to get a pop-up message saying that there is a small likelihood for seats, just to kind of give you an option of maybe you want to choose another school to look at. So each spring, We analyze how many students are enrolled in the school. We look at the school's functional capacity. We compare it to the total enrollment. And we look at that difference is considered the open or available seats. And that is what we use to guide who's getting granted or who's getting offered a special assignment request. We're going to walk you a little bit through the screenshots to give you an idea of what to expect when you go in to sign up. The initial application period opened this Saturday, and it's running through the 17th. Originally, we had it closing on the 15th, which is on the weekend. We wanted to be able to assist families if they were running into technical issues, so we've extended it to the 17th. The late application period for special assignment requests is going to open on April 25th, and that will run all through the next school year. So you'll be able to apply. You could change your mind. You can apply over the summer. You could change your mind and put it in for a different school and apply anytime during the next school year. And I wanted to put a couple things in there. You have to be enrolled currently for this school year, so the 22-23 school year, or you have to be enrolled for the next school year, which would be 23-24. If you're not enrolled, the system's going to block you from applying. So just because you might have called student assignment or gone in and made a reservation, it's not the same thing as enrolling. So unless you brought all the required documentation to the school, you may have a reservation, but you're not enrolled. And we're starting to get some phone calls today. You have to enroll completely for the system to be able to allow you to apply for a special assignment request. The other big thing is if you are an out-of-county resident, so you live in Pasco or Hillsborough or Manatee or somewhere outside of Pinellas, you're not going to be able to apply using the special assignment request or the student reservation system. You're going to have to do something called a special attendance permit, and I'll address that near the end. So as I just said, we have the initial application period, which is going to be April 1st through the 17th. The late application period is going to open up April 25th and will run through next year. To apply, you're going to go to the student reservation system, which can be accessed at https://reservation.pcsb.org. You can also sign into Focus Portal and get to the same spot. I just tend to use the straight reservation and go directly to where I need to. Oh, I thought there were screenshots showing people what to do. Okay. Couple tips for when you get there. So the screenshots we will have up on the website, and I apologize, I'm not sure why they're not showing up right now. You would go in and you would log in with your parent username and password. If you cannot remember your username or password, you would go to either a school with an active or valid photo ID, or you can call the student assignment office and send them or email them at studentassignment.pcsb.org. You can email a copy of your photo ID and we will be able to reset your password. When you do sign in, if you are not, there's going to be two options, and I apologize for you not being able to see it. There's going to be two options, one that says your child has never attended a Pinellas County public school, and the other one that says your child currently attends. And I want to stress that if you're enrolled for next year, you still want to click the currently attends. So whether you're enrolled this school year or whether you're enrolled next school year, you're going to want to click or hit the currently attends option. When you sign in, it's going to give you a series of tabs, everything from the district application program all the way down to summer bridge and summer camps. The second to the bottom tab is going to say special assignment requests for the next school year. And that's the one you're going to want to click. It's going to ask you for some basic agreements, just acknowledging.
Ellen, we were able to add those slides so you can keep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So as I said, so you're going to log in here. You want to make sure that you're clicking currently attends option, even if you're enrolled for next year. So if they've never been a student, but you did enroll for the next school year, you want to click that bottom one that says currently attends next year. You're gonna, once you sign in, it's gonna give you those tabs, look all the way down almost to the bottom, and you're gonna be able to see where it says special assignment request for the next school year. You're gonna wanna click on this one. And I apologize for not taking you live, but there's no way to do this where I wouldn't be sharing one of our students' information. So we're doing it a way that's safely gonna keep everybody's information safe. It's gonna ask you to just verify or acknowledge that you're a current student, that you wanna go to a different school than your own school, that no transportation is provided. Once you do that, it's gonna give you some basic information. You can read through, it talks about the dates. It talks about Thursday, May 26th being that when we will let you know by if you are grades 1 through 12. You will find out by the end of the school year. And then mid-June for our kindergarten, and I'll explain why in a minute. It's going to ask for some acknowledgements. And then it's going to ask you to enter the information. You can either enter the student ID number, or you can enter the name and date of birth as it appears on the birth certificate. If you are enrolled in one of our schools and you enter the name and date of birth, it'll pop up and it's going to ask you to verify that it's your child. Or you can use that student ID number. And this is a 10-digit number that can be found on the report card. So you can go into Focus, your parent portal, and look at the report card and get that ID number too. I do want to point out that sometimes it could be finicky system. So sometimes if it's saying the child's not found, the easiest way is the student ID number. And this is a couple different reasons, depending on the language that your computer is set up on, if it's a different language other than English, or sometimes if you're using a cell phone, the fonts don't always translate well. There might be like one or two different things. And so sometimes it's not reading it the same way that you're putting it in. So sometimes that student ID number is an easier way for it to identify, find your child, and move forward. It's going to pop up the name of the child. You're just going to confirm that that information is correct. And then you would hit continue. It's going to ask you if you have any of those claims. So when I talked about the preferential treatment, whether it's an active duty transfer request, whether it's foster care change, or whether it's court-ordered change in custody, you would click the different ones to say that that is what you're claiming. If you're not claiming any, you would just continue. A screen's going to pop up. And you'll see where it says special assignment requested school. That drop down is going to give you all the different school options. And once again, if a school is at capacity, they're going to show up in red. Doesn't mean you won't get in. It just means that there's slimmer chances due to the fact that there's not as many seats available. If you have a sibling priority claim, so you have a child who's already at that school and is not going to be moving on the next year. And what I mean by that is if you have a child who will be in who is a current 5th grader, a current 8th grader, or current 12th grader, they will not be at the school next year. So the sibling priority claim only counts towards if the child is going to be at the school at the same time. You're going to need that student ID number. So once again, it's on the report card. You can always call your school and get the student ID number, or you can call the student assignment office. But you're going to want the sibling's student ID number because that's one of the ways that the system's going to be able to identify and help us better verify that that is indeed a sibling, that they are going to be at the same school at the same time next year. I want to also point out you still have to do a separate application for each child. So even though you're putting down the siblings on this, it's not going to register a separate application for each child. So for each child, you're going to have to complete a separate application. It's going to ask you to verify that this is the school that you checked. If it is, you hit submit. One more page will pop up asking for the contact information. It is very important that you put the phone number, your email address, because this is how we will reach out. So if you're granted, what is on the screen is how we're going to reach out to you. So if you don't put an email and you don't put a phone number, we're not going to be able to notify you. So please put one or the other or both, which will allow the student assignment office, because the notification will come out via parent messenger. So you will get a parent messenger or email address saying whether you're getting offered a seat or not. So we want to make sure that you do include that information on this page. Once you do, you're just going to click finish. And then it's going to say you've successfully completed your request. You will need to get to this page for the application to go in. You should get an email address, so you will get an email confirmation if you put an email in with it. I just wanted to reference really quick which school board policies and procedures, some of the information on how or why the functional capacity definition and what we're doing come from those policies and procedures. I also wanted to give you my office. We have several different customer service reps who are ready and willing to help. You're more than welcome to come in and we will help you apply. You can call us and we'll help either walk you through it. You can email us with any problems. We are officially open from 8 to 4:30, Mondays through Fridays, but we are more than willing to help or assist anyone at any time. As far as notifications, you will be notified if you are grades 1 through 11. You will be notified by the end of the school year. We do notify kindergarten a little bit later because we typically don't have a lot of our zone families registering until June. So we like to give a little bit more time for our zone families to enroll so that we're not giving away seats for students who are zoned for that school. So you will hear by mid-June if you are kindergarten. And then we will periodically through the summer, as seats open up, we will continue to grant. During the late application period, your name will go to the bottom of the list, and we will continue to maintain a wait list throughout the school year the following year. So we will maintain and offer seats throughout the school year as they open up. We will contact and reach. I know we get lots of anxious families calling in and wanting to know, but as a seat becomes available, my office will either call or email based off of the information that you put in that application and offer a seat as it becomes available. So at this point, that kind of concludes most of the information I wanted to share tonight. I wanted you to open it up to any questions that you may have and make sure we're addressing any questions or concerns so you're better informed to make the best choice for your child.
All right, Ellen, we have a few questions here tonight. I need to complete a special attendance permit. Is there an application window for this, or can I apply at any time?
Okay, so special attendance permits, those are the forms, and if you're looking, you could either put that in, if you go to pcsb.org, you could put that in the search feature, or you could put in form 4-302, and that is what I referred to earlier, allowing out-of-county families to apply. So by Florida state mandate, I can't displace an in-county resident for an out-of-county request. So you can apply any time for the SAP. During this time of year, we will grant what we can with our SARs first so that our in-county residents are getting that priority or that preference to the seats. And then Typically, it'll be at the end of May or mid-May, end of May, where we will look at our SAPs, and if we have available seats, we'll grant them too. So if you are an out-of-county resident, you should also be hearing back from us sometime for the initial one, sometime between the end of May and mid-June. And like I said, as the year goes on, we are periodically looking at those, and we're calling or emailing and offering seats as they become available throughout the school year.
Can we apply for an IB program not in our zone via SAR?
No. You can apply. So, okay, a little bit, there's two different steps for this answer. The SAR only applies for zone portions of a school. So let's say you're zoned for Palm Harbor, but you really want to go to Largo's IB. I'll explain what to do for that. If you were to apply for an SAR, it's only going to get you to Largo's zoned population. It won't work for the magnet program. So any magnet or fundamental program, if there's an application area, our system will block the application because the program is the same. And then it also deals with transportation. And it is rare. So when I say this, I don't want you thinking it's a guarantee. Like, there's probably on two hands I can count the number of times we're able to do it. In mid-June, so we have to give everyone who lives in that application area a chance to apply, because that application area is designed, they get first shot at having the seat in that program. If we let the late application period opens in March and we look at mid-June, so it's been 3 months, we allow for those people in that application area time to apply. If there are still seats available and no wait list, because we will never put someone who's in a different application area in a magnet or fundamental program where the people who actually are zoned for that application area, we won't kind of put them in before someone who lives in that application area. But usually in June, we might do what's considered a transfer. And typically, we see this more with our Centers for Gifted Study, and a lot of times tied to where the parents are working. So there are two conditions. One is there are seats and no wait list. So there needs to be no wait list where you would be displacing someone who lived in that application area, and there has to be available seats. If in mid-June, those two conditions exist, we may be able to do something called a transfer, and that would be contacting the student assignment office. And if it's with magnet or fundamental, it's Mandy Leathers, who handles our DAP, our magnet and fundamental program. So if you would call student assignment mid-June or email, it's DAP at pcsb.org. If there's room and there's no wait list, we may be able to assist at that time.
All right. What are some elementary schools that offer Spanish as a dual language that are not a district application program?
Okay. So we are open. They're starting a program. It's not officially. They're starting a program at Walsingham Elementary next year, and I'm not sure which grade levels. So at Walsingham Elementary, they're going to be starting to build out a dual language program. The best spot, I would say, if you look at the ESOL or World Language website, we do have schools that have Spanish there as a special, but the dual language piece, right now we have Garrison Jones, which is a magnet school, and I do know that our ESOL director is currently looking at expanding that program. More information can be found on our ESOL page on the school district website.
Will Mangrove Bay Middle be accepting SAR or zone students when it opens?
No. So Mangrove Bay Middle School, what we can tell you at this point is it is 100% magnet or DAP program. It has not yet gone. There was a proposal that went to the board workshop like a year and a half ago. So as far as priorities or as far as feeder patterns, none of that has been decided yet. That'll go to the board sometime in the summer. I'm not sure dates yet, but more information will go out about that as it is made available. But SARs, no, because it would be 100% DAP.
All right. We are looking to move to the zone school of our choice for next year, but it is a school that says it has limited seating. Would we still have a seat if we move to the zone area?
So if you live within the zone, yes. Unless they were like completely over, we do our best to have the zone students at the school with that. If you are not living in the zone, that's where it may not be as easy, but we do our best to make sure that our zone students get to attend their zone schools.
Are there special assignment request seats available for every grade?
Not necessarily. So as soon as we are done with this tonight, I'm going to be posting the most up-to-date list. Some schools have a few grade levels. Some might just have 2 grade levels that have current seats. But I do want to hesitate because that is at that one point in time. And so it is literally the minute I put it up on the website, it's going to be wrong already. Because as a new reservation's made or someone decides to move, it's constantly changing. So we're required to put that list up, but it's not accurate as of any time other than when that data is originally pulled. And so where there might not be seats, sometimes we've had swings where there's no seats in the morning and by the afternoon there are. And so a lot of times some schools might have every grade level has seats, some might only have seats kindergarten and 4th grade. So it's very fluid, but not all schools have available seats in every grade level.
My child's IEP states curb-to-curb transportation will be provided. So, will my child receive curb-to-curb transportation if granted an SAR?
That is a great question, and the answer is no. Some of the boxes and the acknowledgments that you're signing off on is because this is a choice. The curb-to-curb is provided to your zone school. In our transportation policy and ESE policy, it states that curb-to-curb is only provided to the zoned. If you are choosing to apply to a non-zone school with that parent choice, the IEP for curb-to-curb, you're signing off an acknowledgement in 2 different spots on that application that if you choose and accept that you're giving up that curb-to-curb transportation.
Can you explain functional capacity?
Yes. Will it make sense? Not too sure. So functional capacity isn't just an easy oh, okay, we have an extra classroom, we can take 18 more students. Functional capacity is a definition that in our policy and our procedures where it's looking at a variety of different things. So it's looking at how much building space is there, how many teachers have been assigned to teach there. So in the idea that we have state mandated teacher-student ratios. So if there's not enough teachers there, could we take more students? So it's not just a quick, easy definition. Some schools might have an extra classroom, some don't. Some have no room to grow. So like East Lake High School is at capacity. There are no more classrooms. Every classroom's being used, every space is being used. So even if we were to say, sure, let's let 25 more kids go there, we don't have any place to put them. And there's not space on their campus to put portables. So when we're talking over capacity or functional capacity, some of it, there's just not room. So it's not a matter of teachers, it's not a matter of building space. So our functional capacity takes into the staffing, it takes into building space, it looks at what other resources does the school have, are there DAP programs, are seats going to be taken by some of the magnet or fundamental if there's a program within a school. It takes into consideration other district resources, and there is one of our slides in the PowerPoint, and like I said, I will put this up on our website that kind of gives a little bit more bullet point. So it takes into consideration more than just the building, more than just the staffing. It takes into consideration a variety of components to say, if we were to put more students, could the school handle it? And in some cases, the answer is yes. In some cases, it's no. So functional capacity kind of considers all of those pieces when we're given a definition of if there's available seats. And I'm sorry, because I know that's confusing. And I wish there was a simpler way to explain it. But it is a definition that considers all of those components, which is up right now. So as you can see, are there ESE teachers there? Is there ESOL? Are there pre-K? Because, are some of the classrooms being taken for pre-K or VPK systems? Is one of the classrooms that's extra a science lab or STEM lab where we couldn't really put students because it's being used for a lab? So there's a lot of different pieces that go into that functional capacity definition.
All right, our last question is, can I request a seat at a school that is over capacity?
You can request a seat. I can't guarantee we're going to be able to give it. So what will happen is once the applications go in, anyone who put one of those claims, so military, foster care, sibling, we have to go in and verify those claims. So we may be, if you put down military, we're probably going to be reaching out and contacting you and asking you for a copy of those active transfer orders. If it's foster care, so we need to go in and verify those priorities. Once those priorities are verified, we can go ahead and let our tech department know, and there's a randomized computer program, which will then randomize the applications. If more people apply than there are seats, we're going to have a wait list. And I will tell you, we're going to have a wait list for Eastlake High School. We're going to have a wait list for Palm Harbor University. We just have certain schools that people really want to go to. So we'll have a wait list, and we will go and look at that wait list. We closely monitor how many seats. Every 12 weeks, we're posting a new functional capacity definition to let you know how many seats we have available at each school and each grade level with that. So if there's a wait list, we will continually go back to it and we'll look, because if there are seats available, we're going to either call or email and offer those. And we do that throughout the school year with that. So we will continually look, we will continually, as seats become available, we will make more requests. That wait list is maintained throughout the year. During the late application, for people who come in after April 25th, they will be able to apply. What will happen after that initial application, though, is it's time-stamped. So if you're applying April 25th or onward, you will go to the bottom of any wait list, and in time-stamped order, you'll be added onto a wait list. So you can reach out to student assignment and find out what your wait list number is. But as far as offers, we continually will look, and we will either call or email based on the information you put in that application and make the offers when seats are available. Okay, well, I thank you so much for your time. Please note, contact student assignment at any time. We'll be glad to explain any of this in more depth, answer any questions, and give any information we can. Thank you so much. If you're looking into applying for a special assignment request, you can apply up to 5 p.m. on April 17th for the initial application period, and then come back again if you wanted to change your mind or apply for a different school starting April 25th, and that will be open throughout the school year next year. All information will be posted on our website. We have a special one that's designated. If you go to the student assignment or registration, you will see where it says next year's special assignment. We have some information for you on there as well, which is what we covered tonight. Once again, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate assisting.